You are here on purpose with a purpose by design and not by default. And it is your time right now to share your story on Right Now. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Right Now. Right now. That means we're writing right now. Listen, this is an author's platform, and I am excited to introduce to you tonight. This is our first of many. We are having a series here from a book anthology, international bestseller, The Women of the Power Voice. Oh my goodness, this book collaboration is rocking it all over the world, and you need to make sure you get your copy right now. Get that? Did you get that?
Right.
Introduce to you or welcome to the Right Now stage. I have the amazing Lilian, one of the collaborative authors with me. Hello, Lilian. Thank you for being here with us on the Right Now stage. How are you?
Oh, Pamela, I'm doing wonderful. How are you? I'm just so excited to be here. And thank you so much for the vision of the Women of Power Voice.
It is so much fun. It is so fun to see your vision or your dream come to pass, right? And here
Yes.
we are from the vision side all the way to pushing through all of it, the summit, the launch, the book's out there. And now we're on the other end. And here we are interviewing and talking about the book. So talk about coming full circle, right? So
Yes.
amazing.
The universe loves speed. So
It
we
does.
did it.
And so does the creator of the universe, right?
Yes. Yes.
Created speed. Oh, Lillian, I'm so glad you're here. Now, I know you quite well, but a lot of our viewers and listeners don't. So, first question, tell us, Lillian, who are you?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lilian Okech. I help women who lost hope to let them know that hard work with dedication, success is possible, and they can design their new life. And the result of that, they can live with confidence, knowing that it doesn't matter where they come from, they can make it in life. So, to go back to who am I always tell people, I say, God sent me through South Sudan. I landed in Uganda, and I find myself in America.
Oh my gosh, you're a world traveler, aren't you?
Yes.
That's amazing. Now, did I stop? Did I interrupt you too soon? Was there anything else about you, who you are, you were going to tell us, or were you finished?
No, I'm
Oh,
finished.
okay. All right. So, all of these incredible authors, ladies and gentlemen, really are little proteges, so to say, of the legendary Les Brown. All of these authors have been trained by him, including myself. We went through the Power Voice system. Some call it the Power Voice Academy, where we were taught for weeks by the legendary Les Brown. Months, really, months adding into weeks, weeks adding into months.
Six
Lillian,
weeks.
you're one of those ladies.
Yes, yes.
Tell us, how did you end up connected with the legendary Les Brown? What's that all about?
So how did I get connected with Mr. Brown? I call him Uncle Les. I call myself as Jonah in the Bible. When God tell him to go to Nineveh, he decided to go to a different town. Because I been follow Les actually for a long time, and I believe Les Brown is the one who saved my life because I was in abusive relationship that I get pregnant when I was 16 because of my culture. They have to marry me up for this man, and he was older than me. So the relationship was just really bad. And one day, I don't know how I come across Les Brown a video. He was talking about some people they are living together or dying together. And I found myself, I was dying with this man. And because I come in this country, I live in project house. When you come in this country, they give you like food stamp and stuff. So I really don't know anything about about how to make it on my own, because when you come here, the government will take care of you. And because we live in a community where people rely on government. So I don't know, like when Les Brown was talking about you are enough, you can make it, like his story kind of connected with me. And I'm like, whatever he's saying, it sounds like it's from a different part of the world, but whatever it is, it was waking me up, you know? So when he says some people are living together or dying together, I say, oh no, I'm dying with this man and I have to get out. I have to get out of my relationship. So I was in that relationship for 10 years. And by the time I decided to get out, I already have 4 boys. I have no career. I was working at Walmart. you know, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get out. So I remember finding myself with my 4 boys living in my mom 2-bedroom apartment. We are all sleeping in the living room because we don't have enough room. From there, because of like the life pressure, I start taking like ibuprofen and like painkiller because for somehow I was in depression. I just want the pain to go away. But I didn't know that I was overdosing myself to sleep, because when you overdose yourself, you don't feel anything. Like you feel weak, but at least you can sleep. But even though I was doing that, like I was overdosing myself to sleep, I will still get up in the morning and listen to Les Brown and listen to Jim Rohn. So on my last anthology book, For Such a Time as This, I actually mentioned that I feel like those two, the ones saved my life, because even though I was in such a pain where I don't know where to go, I still continue listening to them. And finally, I come to my sense, I need to make a change. And that when I start my cleaning business, and I find a place to live. I find a small townhome to live. And one day I was sitting there, that was in 2020 on October. I was sitting there. The place wasn't bad, but there was like cockroaches everywhere. Like cockroaches can climb on the wall on the daytime. Okay, that's how bad the place was. So I was crying out to God. I'm like, God, I just need help. I want to get out of here. I want to find a good place for my kid. I want my business to grow. What would I do? But God was waiting for me to make the move. So I've been following the Power Voice for a quiet, like about a couple months, but I never take the time to like I sign up. And there was one day, Les Brown, they post the video about him dancing. I thought that was funny. Okay. I was just scrolling down the Facebook. I see him dancing, and I'm like, oh, Uncle Les, he can dance. I just laugh about it and I put my phone away. But that night, I couldn't sleep. The video kept playing in my mind. And I said, what is this? I get up at 11 at night. I can't go to bed. I was so tired, but I can't go to bed. I said, I don't know what is it, but I just don't know what is it like. But God was telling me like sign up to the Power Voice, but I keep ignoring it, and the picture clearly come on my face, and I hear clear voice saying, "Is this all you see, Uncle Les dancing? Is that all you see?" So I'm like, oh, okay, you got me, So I get up right there. I message the team. They get back to me right away. But I did not sign up right away. It took me 2 days because I was still crying out to God to see if this is what he wanted for me. Okay. So it took me another 2 days. I finally agreed to sign up. And that's how I become the student and certificate graduate from Les Brown Academy.
Wow.
Yes.
That's just amazing. So you end up on American soil
Yes.
and you're here with someone that you're dying with,
Yes.
and you don't know what to do. Like you're depressed, you feel stuck, like you have these children, and it's at that time that Mr. Brown appears literally in front of your face because you're on your phone
Yes.
and says that statement. You're living or dying with the person you're with. And
Mm-hmm.
you have an aha moment.
Right.
Realize my life needs to change. And so you get out of that situation, but then begin to self-medicate so that
Yes.
you can just push out all the noise, right? All the pain.
Yes.
And yet again, here comes Mr. Brown marching across your path,
Mm-hmm.
showing you joy instead of pain. Mourning for dancing, right? Dancing for mourning. There he is dancing, showing you the other side.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
waiting for you on the other side. Oh my gosh. That is so powerful, Lilian.
And I saved that video, but I think they removed it out of Facebook. But that was my haha moment, and I treasure that video. Like, if I ever have a chance to talk with Les Brown, I would say, "Can I just get that video?" Because every time when I feel like I'm not making progress,
Mm-hmm.
I watch that video. I say, "You remember that video that wake you up at the middle of the night?" So it will say, "Yep, let's keep going. Let's keep going." Yes.
Oh my goodness. That is just a testimony in and of itself. Like how you ended up here on American soil, how you ended up walking away from that, obviously a disastrous relationship, but you also said that you started your own business. So you got out of where you were working, where it really wasn't going anywhere, and you end up with your own business. Like, that's amazing, Lilian, right there. And that's not where it ends. This is just the beginning of your story.
This
The
is the
beginning of the
beginning because
turnaround.
I just want to go back a little bit and tell people I was born in refugees camp. Okay,
Mhm.
I born in refugees camp. I born under the tree where there was no blanket to greet me in this world, and
Oh,
there was not any good food. My family were living under the tent because when you arrived to refugees camp, that was the gift you. So, but when I was living, since I was a kid, my mom our refugee scheme was so good because they give like a land, like maybe a half of acre for every family to live in, and so you can plan your own food and build your own house. So my mom, she was a single mother of 8 kids before she married my stepfather. So my mom, when we was a kid, my mom on Sunday, she will get us all together. We will worship before she left for the garden.
mm,
So that how I become. So from there my mom will, we will sing, we will pray, and then she will say, because she's a single mother, she have to work in order for us to have food. But when mom left to the garden, I will be left at home to take care of my little sister. And from there, when my sister, they're playing, because we live in a village where we just play outside and all the kids are just taking care of themselves. So I was a little bit old. So when mom is not home, here my sister, they play. I was a quiet child. I don't talk much. I always just sit alone under the tree or just admire the beauty of the world. I always just sit there and I'm like, I will recall back what mom was praying about, how good God is, how big God is, how awesome God is. And then I don't have a shoes to wear. I only have one pair of clothes, that we will wash at night, hanging. We will wash it at night, hang it up to dry. In the morning, we put it on. So the one pair of clothes. In my mind, I'm just like, okay, if God is this great, if God is this big, why are we living so small? Why we don't even, sometimes we don't even have food to eat. And in January in Uganda it's really hot, so we have to, you probably don't know this, but we have to cut like banana peels, and then we will make it into shoes so we can walk on it, because the ground is so hot you can walk on it with your bare feet. So when we're doing that, mom prayer always get in my mind. I'm like, if God is this big, then why do we suffer? Why can't he just provide us with the shoes? I just need the shoes because I don't want my feet to get burned. So coming from that kind of environment and learning here in this country, I remember when we arrived in New York City. We arrived here in January. January in Africa is really hot, but in America it's cold. We were wearing a summer clothes with a slipper. We didn't know. Our caseworker didn't tell us. Well, even though they tell us, we did not have money to buy the jacket to wear to come to America. So we arrived in New York with a short skirt, with a t-shirt. It was freezing cold. While I was sitting in that airport, I was sitting like this. I was so cold, but my mind opened, seeing all those women. They carry their luggage, they carry their business bag, they're walking in a high heel, going up and down, wearing those nice shoes. Their hair was flowing. I was just sitting there as a young girl, like, wow, I don't know where all those women going, but one day I will be just like them. So right then, right there, I know God has bring me in this country, and I don't take coming to America lightly because I believe from all the thing that I gone through, God has saved me here for a reason. And
Yes.
I have to do everything I can to make sure I die empty. I do not want cemetery to take any of my treasure. None. So that's why I'm here with you, Pamela, because I give up my life for God to use me fully.
Oh, that's really touching. It's so powerful. Can I circle back to a couple of questions from what you just shared? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
So you said you were living at a refugee camp, and you said when you first arrived, or when your mom arrived, and it sounded like you weren't born yet, or you were born shortly thereafter. Is that correct?
Yes. So my mom was pregnant with me when they were fleeing with South Sudan.
Okay.
So
Wow.
that why is so I feel so blessed because you have to remember there was a war in South Sudan
Yeah.
and people were having anxiety, they were having attack, and some people I know this is sound really sad and but some people were climbing over dead body, so they can find safety.
Sure.
And some mother, because of the anxiety, they lost their babies
Wow.
while they were pregnant. But I didn't. Like God saved me. So when they arrived in Uganda, that where I was born. But all this time she was running. She have no water to drink. She have no food to eat. God was taking care of me. So that why like I feel blessed to be in this country, and I treasure my mom so much for all the pain that she go through to make sure I am here.
No kidding. What an incredible mom you have to fight her way through all of that. Now,
Yes.
when you first, as a family, were in that refugee camp, did you say that the only thing that they gave you was a tent? Is that what you said? Or you lived in a tent? Could you repeat that?
Yeah, they will. So so when you arrive in refugees camp, the first thing they will give you is a tent, and if you're lucky you can get some blanket. um but and then they will write all of you guys name, your family name, and then they will start giving food. But that food is not even enough because maybe they will give you about, I could say maybe about 10 pound or 20 pound for every family. So if you have a large family, that is really not enough for the whole month.
Sure.
So yeah, so when you arrive in refugees camp, they give us a tent and food, and that's it. The rest of the thing you have to figure it out.
Okay, so tell us about the food, because people in America, we can get food at every grocery store, all kinds, and there's many restaurants. There are people that experience hunger in America. That is definitely for sure. But as a general rule, when you think about America, you think of it as a land of plenty, right? So when you say they gave you food, for those people that might be thinking, what is that called when they deliver the food right to your door? You just call up Uber or whatever, and they bring you your food. We're not talking about them delivering McDonald's or pizza. What was your food that your family would have been given that to try to make last? And sounds like you came from a large family. So how much did they give you, and what you said, up to 20 pounds, but of what?
So they will give you beans. Beans about probably 20 pound of beans and probably about 25 pound of corn. And sometimes they give you like a bottle of oil,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. So when they give you those food like beans, corn, or rice, and oil, so you have to figure out where to find your onion. You have to figure out where to find your salt. You have to figure out, some family they run without a pot to cook those things even. So now some people when they were living refugees camp, when this family finish cooking, they will eat and then this person come borrow their pot
Sure.
and go cook. So that when you ask that question, I always laugh when people say I'm starving
Mm-hmm.
when they're in America. When
Come
they just
on.
like they just ate breakfast 2 hours ago.
Right.
So when it's time for lunch, they say, I'm starving. I just look at them. When I used to work at Walmart, I hear that a lot. And I just look at them. I'm like, what do you mean you're starving? You just eat like 2 hours. Do you even know the meaning of starving? Like,
Right.
because I live in a place where you go for the whole day with no food and maybe get something small to eat at night when your family is lucky. If not, you have to sleep hungry and try your best to find something to eat the next days. That is starving. Okay, so yeah, for me, I have to learn when I come in this country. I have to, because it was like so much food, and sometimes people don't realize that because you come from where there was no food, you can become like food addicted kind of thing. Like we
Right.
have problem in our community, like people can just eat it even though they're full, they will still keep eating because of what they went through the past. Their brain thinks that the food will run out, but you're in America, the food will not run out. So I have to like slowly train my brain out of that, like there is always food, so I don't have to worry about that.
Sure.
And so yeah, so when like right now you can just sit in your house in America and you can just order like Uber, take out Uber, and most of our food we will buy food, but 20%, even 40% of our food go in the garbage, in America here. And we don't know how much like it will mean to some people in Africa. And I was just there in August of this year. Africa really didn't change much. And for me, because God has given me a vision of when I see things, it always touches my heart. So when I was going through the village, from the village, and seeing all the suffering, and I'm just like, I just want to do something. And it's just heartbroken. Like I even stopped eating in some point when I was in Africa, because I'm just like, I have the money because I'm from here. I can get the food. But I saw the people, like they will sit there with their corn on the market all day. And if 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 nobody bought their corn, I mean, if nobody buy their corn or buy whatever they're selling, so that means they will have no food that day for their family. Or they, like if they're selling clothes, if nobody buy that clothes, then they will have no money to buy food for their family. And that is some of the suffering in the other side of the world, that we are in America. We should be so lucky and so blessed to do everything that we can to live the best life that we could, because we live in the land of opportunity. So yeah, that's a big difference there.
That's a huge difference there. And
Yeah.
just even what you pointed out, living in a tent, and I know you said that the place that you lived was generous in the fact that they would give land that you could build your own home. Did you guys hear that? They didn't talk about hiring a contractor, right? Bringing out the construction team. They're going to come out and lay the foundation tomorrow. No, build your own home. So then that was dependent upon how qualified you were and what you could build. And then I imagine they weren't bringing you the resources like, okay, here's your lumber. You would need to figure all of that out or live in a tent. Either way, we're not talking about having a deluxe kitchen. You're
Mm-mm.
talking about people sharing a pot. And then it's like, okay, what did they use? How did they use that pot? Where did they cook? There wasn't a stove. We're talking like over building a fire or something, right?
Yep, you have to go in a forest, get a dry tree, cut it down. I'm so happy because my book is coming in May of next year, so all these things will be in the books.
Amazing.
So when you're cooking, of course you have no stove, you have no water. Even first of all, you have to look for water, you have to look for food, you have to look for the wood to cook the food. So and then they have three rocks. Uh, you put these three rocks there, and then you put your wood and you make a fire. And so those three rocks, I don't know if you read the book. It's called The Root. Um, I think. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
You're fine.
This is actually the book right here. It's called The Root.
Oh, yes. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if like the way they describe it over there, so you have to put three rocks and then put those wood in there and make a fire, and that's how we cook. So that
Sure.
way, for me, even when pandemic hit, I did not panic. I don't panic because where I grow up, we learn how to live in the small amount of thing. So even me with my kid, if I'm having a hard time like buying food, whatever we have in the house, I will figure out a way to make it work.
Sure.
So those are the life skill that I have learned. It sound bad, like we don't have all this fancy stuff, but we learn uh, a lifetime life skill that no matter what happened in the world, I don't panic. Like when the pandemic come and all that, I don't panic because I went through the worst. So nothing really uh come as a storm for me. Like, oh well.
Amazing. Amazing. So from living in the refugee camp, which I just love the fact that we're shining light on this because people don't have an understanding of what that means. Oh, refugee camp, they have a nice place, they have food. No, this 3 stones that you went and found for yourself that you'd have to figure a way to make sure that you could heat it up if the ground wasn't hot enough or whatever. Banana peels on your feet for shoes. Living in a tent. And, as you're talking about the pandemic, I'm thinking about all the people that went in and began to go crazy buying toilet paper. Remember the toilet paper shortage?
Yeah,
And,
yes.
really? Toilet paper shortage. Okay. Let me ask you this question. How many rolls of toilet paper did they give to you when you went to the refugee camp? I imagine they weren't handing out packages of TP. Here's your toilet paper to keep you for the next month. Am I right?
Well, first of all, there was even no bathroom.
I knew you were going to go there.
So, so, so there was even no bathroom. So like people have to figure out a way. The thing about living in refugees camp is undescribable moment for people, because when people never experience that, like when they hear you talking, they're like, What are you talking about? Because here you are, you lost your home, you lost everything you have. Sometimes you even lost your family member, running for your life, coming in this country, you don't know the language, you don't know the culture, you don't know how they live. Then you have to figure out a way, like, how did these people live? Where do they get their wood to cook from? Or, where do they get their water? What can I do to survive? It's like there's some show on like TV, like there's survivor or something like that, where people go in a while, and that is sometimes how it feels, because you're in this new country, you don't know what it is, you just have to figure out a way. And that way, when people come in America, America sometimes destroy the refugees, or sometimes it build them, because it's a completely new life that you have to try to figure out, like, what am I to do here? You can either be successful, or this life can destroy you, because then you have all these things, you don't know what to do with it. And some people, because of the trauma they went through, even though they're in this great land, because of their past, they can't see the good thing that they have in front of them.
So true, so true. Which is why now, coming into a totally different viewpoint or vantage point that I have of you, you said in the beginning of our interview that you're here to give hope, especially to women, to help them find their purpose and destiny, and to get out of their past, leave it behind. Now, everybody that's listening and watching, doesn't this come into view? Because Lilian's been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. She knows what it's like from the refugee camp into America. But now, yes, the land of opportunity. But here you are in a land of opportunity you don't know anything about. You don't know anything about. And having to navigate that terrain. So you end up in Des Moines, far from that camp, living in an apartment or a home, house, whatever. And so now a stove, refrigerator, a bathroom, a toilet, woo, toilet paper. But you're dying.
Yes, yes. Coming to America and starting a new life.
Mm-hmm.
For me, when I come here, I was 15 years old. I
You were
didn't,
15. You were
I
15.
didn't, I did not speak any English. So they put me in the ninth grade, because America, they go by the age. They don't go like by what you know. So now here I am in ninth grade, learning my ABC, something that people should learn in preschool. But I have a great teacher. Her name is Nina Lon. She was from Ukraine. She her job is pretty much to help refugees learn English and learn how to read, to write, so they can, get a good life in this country. And here I am, new country, new life, where there is a bathroom, like everything is inside, and you'll be like, wow, is America sound like heaven when you're not here?
Sure.
The way they say it. But just like I told you, since I come here, I know that there have to be a reason for all the things that I went through. Some of my story I didn't even tell you, because there's something they call fish disease, which now they find out is skin cancer. When I was 1 years old, I have it on my right arms. So this is how high I can raise my right arm. I cannot raise higher than that. Like, I can do this one fine, but this is so when I come in this country, they pretty much think like they put me as a disability person. But I'm like, no, because I can work. Like, but when I carry a lot of heavy thing, I get the pain. But that disease, when we were in refugees camp, it killed a lot of people. The people who even were older than me, adults. But I was 1 years old. I survived that.
Wow.
So And then when I was 9 years old, because of the poor environment of living, I actually was a dead person, Pamela. I was dead. Like I remember, like I don't know if you experienced that before, but it's like darkness will come over you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom, I can hear my whole body was gone, but I still can hear because hearing pretty much the last thing left you. Yeah, I hear my mom. My mom was calling my brother and asking my brother to go call my grandma because I will not make it that night. But my mom did something when she tell my brother to go call my grandma. She asked God. She said, "God." At that time, I was 9 years old. She said, "God, if you don't want her to be with me, why did you let her suffer this long?" Because I always like been sick. I always have a bad health since I was born, and I've been suffer sin. And she said, "Why?" And from right then, right there, I don't know who God is. I don't know what is it about God. I even myself, with the last breath I have, I ask God to. I say, "Yes, God, why?" As soon as I ask God that, I feel the lift. I see the light. The darkness start leaving me. I come back to life. And I make it. I'm here. So when I look through all those and now I'm here, why would I be wasting my breath even just for 1 second?
Come on.
Why would I be wasting my breath? So
Wow.
I thank God every day and I will do everything I can to glorify his kingdom.
Which is why Mr. Brown was sent to you,
Yes,
because you had made that decision in your heart. And God was not going to sit there and let depression or anything else snuff out the light that's in you, the story that's in you, and the power voice that's in you. Oh my
absolutely.
gosh. Okay, so you're join Power Voice. You go through the Power Voice system. What happened to you in that time? I'm sure there's a transformation story. Tell us a little bit about that. Take us from Power Voice all the way to Anthology, like to the Anthology, maybe not through the whole book, but take us on a little road trip from Power Voice to present.
I finally take a courage and joined Power Voice. That was my life change moment. I always believe that I have a voice, but I don't know how to express it. I don't know how to share my story. So that's why I feel the calling, that because when I joined Power Voice, I already started my cleaning company. And the reason why I start my cleaning company is because I look around my community. The people who are here, the refugees who are here, I look around. I'm looking for help. I cannot find that help. And I sit down, I said, if I don't do it for my people, who will? Right then, right there, that when I start cleaning for hope. And that cleaning for hope lead me to Les Brown because I was hungry. I was hungry for greatness. I was hungry. I want to help people. I want to help young girls out there. I want to help young men out there. Let them know that you are now in this country. You can make a difference. You can do it. It doesn't matter what you've been through. And so when I joined the Power Voice, I remember asking John because John was thinking in the result of working with Les. And short after joining Power Voice, I joined thinking into result with John. So John was working in my mind, in my thinking.
Yes.
The good book say, "As a man thinks, so is he." So whether you're, even though you live in a great country, if your thinking is not great, you will not make it. You have to work in your thinking.
Right.
So I remember asking John, I said, "John, I want to share my story with Les." You know how John talks. He's like, "Okay, Lily." I'm like, "Okay, John." like every time when I just ask him, he just like, okay, Lily, okay, Lily. I'm like, oh, John, just say something else beside that. But um,
You sounded like him when you said it. You sounded just like him.
so I remember he said, okay, Lily, you're going to share your story tonight with Les Brown. I get freaked out. And I said, no, I cannot do that. He said, well, you asked me. But he gave me some time. He know that I was not ready. He gave me like 2 weeks and then he said, okay, you ready? And when they call my name, I really want to share my story with Les Brown. But I think they give us like 3 minutes. I only take 2 minutes. Like I didn't even take 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute and a half, and I was like shaking because here I am speaking with Les Brown.
Right.
And Les Brown take the small piece that I have, he put it together into this beautiful story. It's like Les Brown was taking me from the place where I was locked in and just peeling out all peeling out all those things that was covering me, like unlock all the change that was blocking me from moving forward. Here, Les Brown transforming my life into beautiful this Lilian. And at the end, he said, Queen Lilian. I said, oh my God, Uncle, let's call me Queen. But that was the beginning. That was the beginning. I signed on October. This year in March, we have the Women of Power Voice. And it just life just been up and on and on. And I finally moved out my 3-bedroom apartment. I mean townhome. I get my own place with the boys. Glory be to God.
Yes.
And only by God grace. If you say yes, you have to say yes and believe. Have the faith and know that it will work out. If you have that faith and you say yes, things did not just happen to me. I say yes to get myself out of the pain I was. I say no to overdose myself to sleep because that could have led me in a different direction.
Yeah.
But I said, no, I have my boys. I don't want them to see me as addicted mother. I want the best for them. So I have to listen to Uncle Les for all the things that he taught me that I can do it. If he was called mental retarded when he was a kid, now he helping people.
Right.
Why not me? Why not me? Because when I come in this country, when I was in high school, I did not speak any English. And young people were like the kid in my class, they were making fun of me, calling me monkey. You don't speak English. What are you saying? And all that. And I was like heartbroken. So by last, like when he shared his story, people were calling him mental retarded when he was young. We get connected. I'm like, that what they used to call me. They used to call me like, monkey, but now I can't share my story. They used to call him like mental retarded. Now he's sharing his story. Why not me? So that's how I come, because I listen to Lisa Nichol, Tony Robert. I could have gone with any of those big names, but there was nothing connected me with them. But something connected me with Les Brown. And for all that he went through when he was a kid, I feel the pain that he went through. And I went through a lot when I was a kid. So now seeing him up there, I say, okay, I want to get that baton that you're passing on. I want to get some and go pass it on to somebody else. you know. So from there, really, like right now, I joined Power Voice 2021 on October. We are now in December of 2021, so it's about a year and 2 months. I'm an author. I'm international bestseller.
Woo!
And I am a second time Amazon bestseller.
Second time?
Second time. And I started school in Africa. I help young girls. I reached back to my community. I said, because when I went back there, I see the way people were suffering. I said, I have to do something. So I started that organization to reach my hand out and help. And now here I am helping people here, helping women here. And just because I say yes on the night where I say Uncle Les was dancing.
When Uncle Les was showing you dancing
Yes.
for your sorrows. He
Yes.
was showing you how to dance right out of that. He was really shining the light on today, like what
Yes.
was going to be happening in a year or so down the road that you couldn't quite see it with your eyes, but you could grab a hold of it and conceive it by faith, little by little, a faith walk. So this is so amazing. Take a giant step for us from Power Voice to the anthology, and obviously sharing your story in a written way is so powerful and so needed, because your story and your voice are amazing and they're needed. There's lives hanging in the balance. How did this happen for you, that you are completed Power Voice, you have your business, you're living your life, and now all of a sudden this opportunity is brought to you? Share just briefly on that. How did you land in the anthology and be here today? This is amazing. Go ahead. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Tell us how this happened.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to you because you hear God's voice. Because God has given you this vision and you say, yes, Lord, your servant is listen.
Yes, Lord.
And because you listen, now you cannot fulfill your vision by yourself. You need all this sister to fulfill it with you. And Yashica come in and you guys agree. And when Yashica sent the message out, I think I said this before, I was in South Sudan. I was in a village. The place where I was, there was no network. For me, that is amazing. That is a real testimony, because if your time is now, it doesn't matter whether you're in a place where there's no network, you will get a signal out of nowhere.
That's right.
I get a signal out of nowhere saying Yashica message. I was sleeping in the place where there was no electric. There's no electrician in that village. My phone, I think my phone was 20% left. It was gonna die off. And I see the message. And that's how I know when I get back to US, thing like the financial actually was really tight with me because I just get back. But I'm like, there have to be a reason for me to see this message when I was way in the village.
Right.
And I have to be a part of this book. It sounds amazing. The good thing that I always thank God is when He speak, I listen. And that's the thing that I want to tell people sometimes. And you can read that on my chapter that I said on the first line, whether you are ready or not, when God speak, you listen. Otherwise, you will miss out your blessing. Because the world we're living right now, we have technology, we have we have children, we have school, we have this COVID problem. We don't have time to listen to God. We don't have this time. And God's voice is so small. If you're not careful, you will miss it.
Boom.
Yep.
Wow.
So I learned to listen to Him. And when I joined the Women of Power Voice, I just know that this book will change my life for good, and I have to do it.
Wow.
I still have this vision. I don't know why, but for somehow I need to write this down. For somehow I know that I will work with less in the future. I don't know how, but I see this vision of changing the world, helping people with my voice. And God has given me the voice to speak, and I can't keep silent. I have to share my story with the world. Maybe my story will change the other person. And that how in my chapter is pretty much to encourage people, that letting them know that it doesn't matter where they come from, especially for women. You don't need anybody to tell you they have to be in your life in order for you to make it.
Yeah.
You're already ordained and wonderfully made and sent in this world to accomplish something. And you can do it. You and God alone. You just have to go deep inside and find that person who is missing inside you. Let that lion round in you so
Yeah.
you can fly like an eagle. You have to leave the chicken out and find your eagle friend. Whether you're a young eagle or you're already flying, you have to find your eagle friends so they can help you fly higher and higher. Because when you start this journey, the storm will hit you. But the beautiful thing about eagle, when the storm hit, they can fly through the storm so they can go above the storm.
Yes. They could
So that's what you need to do in life. And that's what I did. That's why I'm here today, sharing my voice, sharing my story. Even though I will not be here someday, the Women of Power Voice Anthology will always be there.
always be there.
Yes.
Okay, well, I wasn't expecting to get all emotional tonight, but praise God. Praise God for you and for your leadership, for your strength, and for your vision. Because when God spoke to me about this anthology, it was for you, Lilian, for all of the women.
Yes.
Tonight I'm speaking to you. It was for you. He had you in mind. He was looking at you, seeing your life and your story and all of the lives that your life has touched and are yet to touch.
That's right.
Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. Wow. And yes, it's a legacy we can leave for our children and our children's children and their children and their children and on
Yes.
and on and on, right? And
Yes.
all of those that are supernatural or spiritual children or offspring to us.
Absolutely.
We'll be there for them. So with that being said, how do people reach out to you and get this book? Get an autographed copy. How do they connect with you to hear more about your story or help you fulfill your vision? Tell us, tell us.
You can go to my website. On my website, I have, you go to lilianokech.com. Is LILIANOKECH.com. So on my website, I have my story. I have my outreach organization. I have my book there you can buy, or you can sign a lesson with me. Just chat. And I'm so excited. Pretty soon, I will launch my course to teach people how to build their mission statement. That is exciting.
Yes,
So because mission statement, the one helped me to find my voice.
yes,
And I want to help people to build their mission statement so they can live in a clear view of life, knowing that they have a reason for getting up in the morning. They have a reason to go to work. They have a reason to do what they do.
Right.
And all this because I say yes to join the Power Voice.
I'm so glad you said yes.
Because I say yes. And or you can find me on Facebook at lilianokech.com. At Lilian Okech on my Facebook page or Instagram. Yes. And if you want to help the people in South Sudan, really, because my vision in South Sudan is to help young girls and young men build their confidence and help them with technology. That's what we're doing, because some people, they finish university in South Sudan, they still don't know how to use technology.
Mm.
And I'm going back there in February. So if you have an old computer, or you want to donate a computer, or you just want to donate money to pay for somebody's school fee so they can take those training, it's all welcome. And you can find all that on my website. So I'm here to serve the humanity. And if you listen to me, you're there to help me fulfill what the universe has sent me here to do. So you can find all that on my website, and let's chat from there. Let's make this world a beautiful place. For me, I feel like if one person can get up and do one thing, one good thing in this world, we will leave the world a much better place than it is right now.
Amen. Lilian, thank you for sharing the depths of your soul and your story tonight, and how you're paying it forward in so many ways.
Yes.
Thank you. And all of that she shared, how to reach out to her and all of that, how to get the book from her, how to help support the schools in Sudan, please just look in the description. It's all there.
Yes.
So her website, all that stuff, it's all there. You can
Yes.
follow up with her. Again, I say thank you, Lilian. It's been I'm without words, which doesn't happen very often. A treasure. A treasure. I treasure this time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you all for being here. Now do me a big favor. As Les always says, like it and share it. This story needs to go all over the world. Will you help take Lilian's story and her power voice all over the world? Like it and share it. Comment, 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 share it. Let's empower Lilian to empower the world that she is being sent into. Thank you so much for being here right now, on Right Now. You have a purpose by design, not by default, just like Lilian, and it can't be denied. So go on out there and be the salt and the light everywhere you go. See you next time on Right Now. Bye.
Ascend Above the Crowd is the newest course by Pamela Henkel. Ascend is a self-paced email course that will come directly to your inbox and will change your mindset and your life. Each week, you will receive lessons, resources, challenges, and journal writings that will help you discover your purpose by design. It's your time to ascend above the crowd. To learn more about Ascend, go to www.purposewithpamela.com/ascend.
Pamela Henkel is the founder of the Purpose Center. Pamela is a mindset mentor, author, speaker, minister, and transformation coach. Her weekly podcast, international radio show, and television show are a lifeline that changes lives and inspires people to discover their individual potential through realizing their purpose by design. Pamela is a natural motivator and has shown many how to find their niche and transform their lives. Although success is an uphill battle, Pamela gives the necessary strategies to flourish, cheering you on every step of the way. Pamela shares from her personal experiences, education, and life as a woman in leadership, utilizing decades of knowledge. Taking the approach of, let's have coffee and chat, she will awaken your dreams and purpose by design. Are you ready for Pamela to help guide you? Email us at purposewpamela.office@gmail.com or go to her website at purposewithpamela.com.